In the distant reaches of the galaxy, a million civilizations thrived, each believing itself at the pinnacle of intelligence, strategy, and power. Ancient records spoke of a small, blue-green world, Earth. It was described as primitive, slow to advance, a backwater with nothing to offer the stars. Over centuries, humans became a footnote, a cautionary tale of a species too fragile to matter. The galaxy forgot them, or so it thought. Deep within the nebular expanse, the Council of Elders convened. Their leaders, towering, many-limbed beings, with scales of silver and bronze, debated new frontiers. One elder, Varnock, spoke with disdain, his voice echoing across the crystal chamber. Earth sends no ships, no fleets. It is unworthy of notice. Why waste resources on a world of insects? Another elder, quieter but no less sharp, hissed, "Do not underestimate history. Even the smallest sparks can ignite great fires. But yes, for now, it is irrelevant." And so, Earth remained overlooked. Centuries passed. Humans struggled, surviving countless catastrophes on their homeworld. Wars scarred the continents, yet humanity endured. Despite their seeming weakness, their resourcefulness, creativity, and stubborn will allowed them to rise again and again. On Earth, legends of the ancients were whispered. Ancestors who tamed fire, bridged continents, and built civilizations that vanished into dust, leaving only the faintest echoes of their genius. In time, humans developed engines that could tear through space, weapons that rivaled the power of stars, and minds capable of understanding the secrets of the cosmos. They remembered the lessons of the past. Survival depended not on numbers alone, but on cunning, adaptability, and unity. But the galaxy had long dismissed them as irrelevant. Then came the day that the galaxy would regret its arrogance. A scouting fleet of the Zephyrian Empire, the largest and most dominant species in the sector, entered the outer rim. Their ships, titanic, war cruisers bristling with energy cannons and quantum shields, scanned for easy prey. They sought the remnants of unaligned systems, those too weak to resist assimilation. The fleet's commander, Lord Carveth, sneered as his sensors detected a faint energy signature on the forgotten blue planet. "Humans," he spat, "a primitive race. We will take their world without effort. Send the first wave. I want them gone before they even know we arrived." The first Zephyrian ships dropped into orbit over Earth, assuming it would be a simple conquest. What they did not know was that humanity had been preparing. Not openly, not with fleets to impress the galaxy, but silently, patiently, like hunters waiting for the perfect moment. Beneath the oceans, under the deserts, across the sprawling cities, humans had constructed hidden bases, research stations, and command centers. They had studied the stars, built ships faster and deadlier than anyone expected, and trained minds in strategy, leadership, and combat. They had watched the galaxy's arrogance, waited for this day, and now it had come. When the Zephyrian fleet opened fire on a major human city, expecting resistance to crumble instantly, they were met not with surrender, but with a coordinated counterstrike. Missiles emerged from hidden orbital platforms. Energy beams struck Zephyrian shields, overwhelming them with precision. Human warships, small but fast and maneuverable, darted between the colossal cruisers, striking critical points with surgical accuracy. Carveth's voice rang with disbelief. How is this possible? This world should not even have a defensive fleet." From Earth's orbit, the humans broadcast a single message across the fleet. "You forgot us. You ignored us. Now you will see the strength of humanity." The battle spread across the solar system. Moon bases exploded with brilliant firestorms. Asteroid belts became fields of deadly traps. Every move the Zephyrians made was anticipated, countered, and punished. They had expected to dominate, but humanity was everywhere, silent, unseen, and devastating. For Carveth, the shock turned to fear. He ordered retreat, only to discover that every escape route had been blocked. Humans had anticipated their movements before the fleet had even reached the system. But it was not merely technology that made humanity formidable. It was something older, something the galaxy had never understood. Their unity, their resilience, their ability to endure the impossible and still fight. When one human ship was destroyed, two more would take its place. When one strategy failed, another rose immediately, sharper and deadlier. They adapted at a speed no other species could match, thinking in ways that were entirely unpredictable. On board the Zephyrian flagship, Carveth realized the truth. Humans were not primitive. They were not weak. They were evolution perfected under pressure, sharpened by countless disasters and tempered by centuries of survival against impossible odds. Humanity's apparent fragility was a mask for their true strength. As the battle raged, humans began deploying a weapon unlike any seen before. Massive energy conduits, hidden for decades in the outer reaches of the solar system, activated in unison. A wave of controlled supernova-level energy surged toward the fleet, but it was precise, aimed only at Zephyrian ships, leaving the planet intact. Ships disintegrated before they could fire again. Entire fleets vanished in a single blinding moment. Across the galaxy, observers trembled. The so-called weak humans had not only defended their homeworld, they had shattered one of the EU most feared empires in a matter of hours. Reports of the battle spread quickly, carried by faster-than-light communication relays. Within the Zephyrian Empire, panic erupted. Councils debated desperately how to respond to a species they had underestimated. For eons, none had an answer. Everywhere the story was the same. Humanity could not be defeated because their strength was more than military. It was a force of spirit, intelligence, and unyielding determination. Yet even as the humans celebrated their victory, they did not exult in cruelty. They offered a single, simple warning to the galaxy. We are here. We were always here. Do not forget us again. The galaxy had assumed humanity was weak. They had ignored the lessons of Earth's past. Now no one would make that mistake again. For the humans, victory was bittersweet. They mourned the loss of their own brave souls who had died in the battle, heroes whose names would never be forgotten. But their sorrow was tempered by the knowledge that they had preserved their home, their species, and their legacy. They had reminded the galaxy that appearances could be deceiving, and that endurance, cunning, and unity could overcome even the mightiest of enemies. From that day forward, humans were no longer footnotes in galactic history. They were legends. Tales of their resilience and brilliance spread to every star system, inspiring other worlds to rethink what strength truly meant. Civilizations that had once considered themselves invincible now approached humans with caution, respect, and, in some cases, awe. Centuries later, when the galaxy looked back at that first battle in the nebular expanse, it was remembered not for the fleets lost, but for the lesson learned. A species forged in struggle, underestimated for millennia, could rise to heights no one had imagined. Ancient humans had been forgotten, yes, but once the galaxy released their true strength, there was no forgetting them again. And on Earth, the descendants of those who had endured every hardship looked up at the stars and smiled. They had survived. The centuries preserved their spirit and shown the galaxy that humanity was not just another race among many. They were a force of nature, unstoppable, unforgettable, and eternal.